Hi Pooja, it's nice to see that you've submitted your first essays for correction. Well done. Let's take a look and see what you have written here. Okay, so the first one is about schools, whether they should just be educational or if they should entertain as well. Here's what you said. Whether schools should provide fun activities to their students or not is a topic which requires serious consideration. So no comma, no it, because this whole phrase here, wait, let me do this. There we go. This whole phrase is your subject. Okay, so you don't need to put a comma or the it. All right. According to some, the main motive of school, not the right motive. The main purpose is the right word here. So the main purpose or goal of schools, it should be to impart academic skills. However, I do not agree with them. Let me try that again. According to some, the main goal of schools should be to impart academic skills. However, I do not agree with them. All right, this is a little tricky here, this them, because you actually have a number of different plural nouns here that this them could refer to. So it becomes a little confusing. So you had some, which is obviously what you're referring to, but then you have schools and then you have skills. And so you have to read it like several times to understand what you're really trying to say here. Okay? All right. I believe that they should involve other amusing activities which are necessary for the well-rounded development of the children. This essay will explain my view by relevant examples and supporting arguments. Fine. Firstly, schools are emphasizing on excellent grades. All right, careful here with emphasizing. There's no reason to use the present continuous. It's the wrong tense here. It should just be a general truth, which needs the present simple. So, firstly, schools emphasize excellent grades, which leads to more stress among students. At this time, like-minded subjects, such as music and drawing, I don't know what that means, like-minded subjects. What is a like-minded subject? And like-minded to what? Help to relieve their stress. Who is there? It's not clear here who this they is referring to, this there. And improve their productivity. In other words, creative and performance arts help pupils to express their emotions and at the same time can develop their thinking ability and improve time management skills. Hold on a second. Do you have any sort of support for this? I mean, you're telling us essentially the same thing, but you're telling us twice. Helps to relieve stress and improve productivity. How do you know that? How do you know that thinking ability and management skills, time management skills are improved? So it's one thing to say it and even say it twice, but you also have to support it with some sort of illustration, some sort of example, some sort of statistic that you read somewhere, something, okay? Given that they have to take out time from their studies to participate in these activities, they learn to manage their time. Okay, okay, I understand that these are creative activities, but are they entertaining? Remember, that's what we're talking about here, more entertaining. So I want you to really focus on this word. This is your key word here. So think about what entertainment means. It means amusing, it means fun, it means lighthearted. So can you necessarily say that art, drawing, is amusing and lighthearted and fun? Maybe if you're artistic, but if you're not that kind of a child, then perhaps you won't find it entertaining, all right? It's not a game. It's not a fun kind of, group activity where children are laughing and are learning despite, being in a classroom. So think about this example and whether it really supports what you think it supports. Secondly, sports teaches, now careful again with these pronouns. Who is them? All right, you should not assume that your reader knows who you're talking about, so especially when you begin a new paragraph. So, secondly, sports teach children various valuable life skills, namely sportsmanship, spirit. Sportsman spirit. I would have preferred sportsmanship here. So, sportsmanship, leadership skills, and communication skills. To put it differently, being a part of the sports team, they not only have to interact with other players, but also learn to maintain a good relationship with them to win in the match. Furthermore, studies have shown that physical activities are beneficial for the mental and physical well-being of the students. Right, but again, where is the entertainment here? So you're telling me what students are gaining from this, and okay, but where is the idea of entertainment, amusement, enjoyment? All right, just because you're doing sports, it doesn't necessarily follow that these things provide entertainment, as has been talked about in the essay, okay? So to conclude from the aforementioned arguments, although schools should not lose their focus from studies, I believe that co-curricular pursuits are crucial for pupils because they help to build the character and also improve their physical, mental, and emotional health. Okay, so again, I like what you wrote. It's very nice, but I do feel that it's almost as if you're answering a different question. It's as if you're asking, how can I say this? It's as if the question you have been asked is, should extracurricular non-academic classes be part of the school curriculum? And you're saying, yes, they should. All right, but just because these are extracurricular or they're not academic, that doesn't mean that they are necessarily entertaining. So I really want you to narrow in on that word of entertainment. Make sure you understand it and are providing examples and developing your ideas in such a way that you're referring to this thing about entertainment, okay? Now, that's not to say that sports and art and creative pursuits can't be entertaining. Of course they can be, but you have to frame it in such a way that it's clear that we're talking about entertainment here and not just any extracurricular pursuit. All right, let's move on here. An enjoyable activity with a child. It is often believed that children benefit more from other tasks rather than just reading books. I certainly agree with this view because even though books provide academic knowledge and wisdom, they are not as interactive as electronic games and sports. This essay will explain this by using different supportive arguments and examples. Fine. First, console games are useful for learning various abilities. When children play these types of games, they develop a sense of awareness and decision-making strategies. This is because in these games, either they have to solve some kind of puzzles or have to win a race. For example, a study conducted by one educational institute in the UK suggested that their students who played on PlayStations for 2 hours a week performed well in logical subjects such as maths and arithmetics. Well, maths and arithmetics, same, no? Therefore, this pastime activity is superior to reading. Okay, well, careful with that kind of an argument. You should have, for you to suddenly come to this conclusion that PlayStation is better than reading, it's superior, as you said, then you have to show where reading is weak. So perhaps you could have also added here that such performance was not seen with children who only read. Then you could say that. But here it's like you're making a leap of logic that isn't entirely appropriate. It's not founded, okay? So you want to be careful with this kind of thing. All right, secondly, sports competitions also play a crucial role in building children's characters. Sports teach them numerous variable motor skills, such as sportsmanship is a better word here, leadership and communication skills. By participating in a group activity, they get a chance to interact with their counterparts and learn to maintain good relationships. This can become essential for them in later in adult life. For instance, research done by the British Sports Council indicated that sportive children, I don't really like that word, but okay, have good relations with their classmates and family members. Okay, hence sports activities can make them a good member of society. Interesting. To conclude from the given evidence, I firmly believe that reading only assists children in their studies, whereas video games and sports make them can make their well-rounded progress. Okay, this is an awkward expression. What does that mean, can make their well-rounded progress? How about video games and sports can help them become more well-rounded individuals? That would be a better way to say this. Now, let's talk a little bit about this. I preferred this essay to the other one. I thought it was stronger. I thought the arguments were more logical, and I thought they were more focused and appropriate. But there is a major problem here. Look what it says here. A child can develop better skills and more creativity. You focused on skills. So here you talked about a sense of awareness and decision making. Here you talked about becoming more social and maintaining good relationships. You talk about sportsmanship, leadership, etc. But guess what you missed? This. There is nothing about creativity in this essay. And clearly they want you to talk about it and they want you to focus on it considerably because they've actually very deliberately separated it from this idea of better skills. Okay? So if they didn't want you to do that, they wouldn't have said here better skills and more creativity. They would have just said better skills, and that's it. Okay, so this is a big deal because it's almost, the examiner looking at this is going to think, well, you really only partially answered this. You focused only on skills. So again, I'm going to encourage you, now that it's really, really early in your course, to pay extremely close attention to the tasks, make sure you understand them, and make sure you're answering them appropriately, okay? Because they do hide some sort of risks and some sort of like pitfalls within them, okay? Let's see. Now, there was something else that I wanted to mention about this. Let me just look at it one more time. Now, what I wanted a little more of, this is what I want to mention. I wanted you to mention reading, and I wanted to see more of a comparison here with regard to reading. So here you said that this activity is superior, but I wanted to see this idea of how this activity is superior to reading throughout the paragraph. I told you here that I didn't find this particularly convincing. Here, you didn't mention reading at all. So I would have liked you to say something like, as reading is a purely solitary activity, it can in no way help develop, communication skills the way team sports can, or something like that. So you really needed to remember that there is a comparison you're being asked to make here with reading. So you needed to include that as well. Okay, so that's pretty much it for this set of essays, Pooja. Go ahead and correct these based on my suggestions in this video. Return them to us corrected. Also, don't forget to create an error correction list where you write the errors and then next to each error the corrected version. And of course, the third thing I want to see from you is a new set of essays. Try to do this all within the next day or so we can really adapt and assimilate all the information you've been learning, okay? So go ahead, get all that started, and I'll be here to see your next set of essays. Thanks.